Welcome back to Video Morning on TNN. It's Thanksgiving Day, and lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, John Denver.
He is here.
Top of the morning.
Good morning.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, indeed. You look wide awake. Ready to chow down a little later?
Well, that's a surprise to me, and I celebrated a birthday with one of the members of my band last night, and we had too much sake.
Oops. Ooh, it doesn't take much to have too much, does it? You've been so successful, I mean, all those years, and all your albums are gold or either platinum, and you've hung in there. And one thing I really admire about you is your causes. You've stuck with them all these years. I mean, you don't waver.
Well, you know, there are things that I really care about, that I've cared about for a long time, and I've had the opportunity to more than talk about them, to be involved, and they haven't gone away. And so I'm really pleased that there are things that I can still give my time and energy and resources to that I think matter and that have to do with more than you know, trying to make it in the record business.
You're a global person.
I consider myself a global citizen, but I consider everybody a global citizen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more than ever before, we have to recognize that what we do here in Nashville has an effect, a far-reaching effect out there, not only through country music. What happened in Chernobyl has an effect around the rest of the world. What's happening in the rainforests of South America has an effect around the rest of the world. And so we need to begin thinking and acting like a global community if we're going to make it work.
Could be way ahead of your time.
Well,
I mean, it's about time, but I mean, even 20 years ago, you were talking like this.
Yes.
Interesting to have you here on Thanksgiving Day, because one of your causes is fighting world hunger.
Hunger is a true obscenity, I think, in our world. We say that there's too many people, and the truth is that we produce enough today to feed twice the Earth's population. And yet within that scenario, 40,000 children starve to death every day.
A lot of them in the U.S.
Well, I don't know if they're starving to death here in the United States, but there are very many poor people and hungry people, hungry families, hungry children. Do you know that 40% of the homeless are families, and that over 25% of the homeless people in our country have a college education?
Wow.
And that 14% of the homeless here in our country are children who are alone on the street. How does that happen?
I don't know.
You know? So as much as we have to be thankful for on this day, I appreciate you bringing that up. And in all of our Thanksgiving, let's also remind ourselves about those who are needy and those who, with just the smallest effort on our part, we can make a real contribution to in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your new video, which seems to have a lot of meaning into it, Potter's Wheel.
Potter's Wheel. The song was written by Bill Danoff. Bill was one of the co-writers on Take Me Home Country Roads and a few other songs that I've done over the years, and he was one of the Afternoon Delight Starland vocal band.
Oh, yeah.
They got the new vocal group of the year Grammy.
Right, you signed them on,
Morley.
Didn't you have something to do with that?
They were on the Win Song record label at the time. And so Bill wrote this song, sent it to me a few years ago, and it just kind of stuck. I couldn't get it out of my mind. It's a very moving song to me, and I think part of what it has to do and what we were just talking about, you know, is how do we want to raise our children? What are the kinds of values that we want to give to them? What are the things, the priorities that we would like to see them set? I think it's a very interesting song.
Mm-hmm. And the influences. Let's take a look.
Let's watch it. John Denver and Potter's Wheel.
All they've ever known. They've seen the wars that hurt the hunger. How will they choose when they are grown? What do you tell forever's children when it's their turn to hurt and heal? Whatever spins a grim tornado can also turn a potter's wheel. Take a little clay, put it on a wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little burn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Tell with your life a bloody story, teach to their dreams, not burning steel. It's not in bombs where lies the glory, but in what's shattered on the field. The potter's wheel takes love and caring, skill and patience, fast and slow. The works it makes are easily broken once they survive the potter's throw. Take a little clay, put it on the wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Someday some children will be digging in some long forgotten ground, and they'll find our civilization, or what's left of it to be found. They'll find the wagons of destruction, but buried deeper in the coal. They'll find a message in a pot, in the sand, the potter's bowl. Take a little clay, put it on the wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Take a little clay, put it on the wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Earth and water and wind conspire with human hands and love and fire. Take a little clay, put it on the wheel, give a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want.
There he is. What do you think, John? First time
Well,
you've
I
seen
like
it?
it. Yeah, it's a real treat to me. I was telling Al earlier. I remember the first time that I ever heard one of my songs on the radio. It was Peter, Paul, and Mary singing "Leaving on a Jet Plane." I was in Phoenix, Arizona, driving down the road, and here came this thing, and was all of a sudden, you know, a real dream come true.
Uh-huh.
And I started crying. I had to pull over the side of the street and sit there, and it just was a great experience. And I'm sure it's happened for so many country writers here in Nashville, or artists. The first time you hear one of your songs, or the first time you hear your own song on the radio, I mean, you singing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" when that started happening. And now to see this video, this is the first time that I've seen it.
I'm so glid you didn't tear up on us there.
Oh,
It would have been really messy. But,
following the turkey
Got to be a thrill.
would have been real messy.
yeah. Oh, gee.
It's unusual. Do you still get nervous when you do your stuff?
You get nervous if you're attached to a show. And this is one of the things that I've watched over the years. I really don't get nervous very often, unless for some reason you have an attachment to the show. And where I notice this is with my band. I remember in the early days, people like James Burton or Glenn Hardin or one of the guys would have family coming to one of the concerts. And then after the concert, and they were brilliant. They played brilliantly, but after the concert, they would come back and say, "God, I just couldn't get that amp sounding the way I wanted to, Johnny." So you got something attached to it, and you don't live up to what you wanted to do, and it's because you're nervous or whatever like that. And they were brilliant. And I hope that, you know, on those occasions when I'm attached and I don't feel like I did the show that I wanted to do, that
It
it's
never
still...
shows. My whole point in asking that question was you seem to be one of the most relaxed people I've ever watched perform. You always seem like you're having a good time.
Well, I do. Singing is still my favorite thing to do. And I love to sing for people. It thrills me to death that I can go anywhere in the world and sing for people, and they'll sing along with me. They know my songs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty wonderful. I feel, you know, very welcome. There's nothing there to overcome. You're welcomed by people.
Well, I hope you're not nervous at this big show. The video morning, we realize this is the pinnacle of your career.
I only got
attached
nervous
to this puppy.
I got nervous when I heard I was following a turkey, but
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. We're going to show some more John Denver videos and talk a bit more with him also. Stay with us. It's Video Morning. We are with John Denver, and we are real pleased that you came by today on Thanksgiving Day.
my pleasure.
Talk a bit about Grandma, who gave you your first guitar and basically, in that move, shaped your life.
Yeah, I would say I have no idea where I would be or what I would be doing without that guitar. It opened up so much for me. It helped me make friends when I was a child. I'm an Air Force brat, and in moving around, that was the thing that helped me make friends and got me accepted, I guess.
Do you get together still with your family, Thanksgiving, all this? You have them all gather around?
Not like the old days. In the old days, and not so much my grandmother Swope, who gave me the guitar, but my dad's mother, that was a large family. There were 2 girls and 9 boys.
Wow.
And when we would get together with them for Thanksgiving or Christmas, it was one of those things where everybody brought some food, and we would play softball or something, the whole family getting involved in it, just the most wonderful family occasions.
Mm-hmm.
The most wonderful times that I remember, and something that it seems is very, very rare anymore.
Well,
these
not
days.
many people have 11 kids
11
anymore.
Yeah.
I came
There
from a
isn't the
family
time.
of
and more
6.
cousins than you can count.
Sure.
Holy moly.
Just doesn't happen like that much anymore. What else do you want to talk about? I know you've got a Christmas special coming up.
Thanks. Yes,
Yeah.
it's. Can I mention another network here?
Oh, please
Mention
do.
it. We'll help you.
It's on CBS, and my guests are Clint Black and Kathy Mattea and Patty Loveless, and it's called Cowboys and Indians and Christmas.
Wow.
And we're filming it on an Indian reservation up in Montana, and I think that it has the opportunity, the possibility of actually being special. You know, they call specials
That's true.
all the time, but I don't know how many of them really are special. Something it's a special event that you would not be able to see or participate in any other way. And this could be a great show.
Look forward
well,
to
it ought
seeing
to be
that.
with Clint,
You're
Patty,
loaded
Kathy,
with
and
talent.
Yeah,
How
I'm
can you
excited to
deny
sing
it?
with all 3 of them. I just think they're great, and actually, I've met Patty before, but not really Kathy, and I've not met Clint, and so we're doing it next week, as a matter of fact.
Ooh, wow.
That's where I go to from here, and it'll be on, I believe, about 3 or 4 days before Christmas.
All right. We'll look forward to it.
Thanks.
Good.
Thanks.
Let's watch a little bit more John Denver, eh?
Okay.
This is John doing Don't Close Your Eyes Tonight. Boy, making those videos must be tough, John.
Steamy.
God, I had so much fun doing that, you can't imagine.
Not bad.
Afraid I can.
Another
You know, when you came out with Sunshine, what was that, 74? Sunshine on your shoulder, on my shoulder?
Sunshine on My Shoulders had to be about 1973, 74.
That sold like, what, 10 million copies? Stayed on the charts for 2 years?
The album, the first greatest hits album that I did was over 10 million copies back at a time when there were only, I think, 3 albums that had sold that many. Simon
That
and
was phenomenal.
Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, and Carole King, Tapestry,
Right.
and my first greatest hits album.
Yeah. Were you going to make plans to maybe come out with some re-releases, perhaps put a lot of that together again?
What I've done is we've already done one compilation which is called Earth Songs, and it's songs like Sunshine and Eagle and the Hawk and Rocky Mountain High, To the Wild Country, songs that were about nature or the environment or inspired by that. And we re-recorded them, basically the same arrangements, but re-recorded them state-of-the-art digitally, recording, mixing, mastering,
And you said
and singing the way I'm singing
yeah.
today. I think I'm singing differently than 20 years ago when I wrote those songs.
A lot of change.
A
That
little
thin,
bit.
reedy voice is starting to get a little deeper, I think, and I'm starting to learn how to sing, listening to people like Kathy Mattea and some others.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we re-recorded that. We're going to do an album of the love songs which would have like Annie's Song and I'm Sorry and Back Home Again, things like that. And then an album of what I call life songs or story songs, like Thank God I'm a Country Boy, Country Roads.
Do Wild Montana Skies on there.
Wild Montana Skies will
Emmylou
be on
Harris.
that.
Yeah.
Isn't that a good
I
song?
love that. One of my
We're going to do that
favorites.
on this special that we're doing up in Montana.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs, too. Thank you.
Love that
Thanks
song.
very
What
much.
else you sung with Emmylou? You sung with Kermit. You sung with George. Burns.
Yeah, really,
I mean,
Kermit.
You've
George Burns,
you've really
Placido
covered the ground.
Domingo. That was quite a thing. You know, so there was a, who could imagine somebody like me singing with Placido Domingo, the greatest tenor in the world today. And Milt Oken, who's my publisher and was my producer for a whole long time, also worked with Placido, and this was his idea. So I was actually here in Nashville recording the Some Days Are Diamonds album, and flew up on a weekend to New York to go in the studio with Placido, and we didn't know if it was going to work or not. And we did this song that I'd written called Perhaps Love, which I think is one of my best songs.
Wow.
And it was top 10 on the biggest country station in the country. It was a big country station in New York at that time.
In New York.
And but RCA would not let him release it as a single. It would have been a #1 record, I think. And so it's complications between record companies and like that. And it got kind of held up. But even country people were listening to this opera singer and this kid saying,
Oh, it's a
God, it
beautiful
was
love
great.
Yeah, but
You have fans worldwide. That's one of the things your career has afforded you, a chance to travel all over the world, and quite a few people watch this show. And
Well,
we
a few,
should put your fan club address up there. Right now, there may be like 30, 35 people watching.
I guess you invite people to ride.
Holy moly, yes. Anytime they come, this is actually my home address in Aspen, and it'll get there and filter around, get to me.
Well, there's a lot of things probably people will write and want to talk to you about. How do you
They
find
have
the time?
all the years. Well, it's hard to do, and the ones that especially are hard is when young people are writing to you about advice, or parents who know their kids are big fans of yours, and their kids are now maybe terminally ill, or something is going on, and could you just send a little note or give them a call or something like that. And it's hard to do all of that, and it's hard to say no, impossible to say no sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we are really pleased that you came by. And we
I'm
wish you
pleased
a
to
lot
have
of
been
luck.
invited, and thanks for showing my videos.
Sure.
We'll
And
continue.
I hope I can come again.
Make more and drop by. We'll
Count on
leave the
it.
turkey out next time, too.
All right. Thanks, Katie. I'll leave the sake out, too.
Our special guest, John Denver, will be back with Charlie Daniels right after this.